You're listening to the Fitness Matters podcast with Paula B, and this is episode number 237, Creating Unshakable Belief in Yourself. Welcome to the Fitness Matters podcast, where every week we talk about the fitness matters that matter to you. I'm Paula B, YouTuber, certified life and weight loss coach, soon-to-be author, and your best middle-aged fitness friend. Are you ready to talk about the fitness mindset that matters to you? Me too. Let's go. This month's book club book is The Kindness Method by Shahroo Izadi. Join me to chat about it live on Tuesday, June 14th at 3 p.m. Pacific. There's a link in the description box or show notes below to register for the Zoom event. You can download and listen to The Kindness Method or thousands of other great titles from Chirp audiobooks at steep, limited time discounts with no monthly subscription fees. Right now, The Kindness Method is just $2.99, and first-time users can get 50% off their purchase with the code PAULA50. That's PAHLA 50. Be sure to follow the Paula B Wellness Over 50 book club at chirpbooks.com/Paula. Grab your copy today, and I'll see you live in June. Hello, my friends. I am so excited to be here with you today. It's so excited. I'm singing. You know, I always sing. This is a relic of my childhood. I always start my day with singing when I greet somebody. I'm not always in person. I mean, in person, I'm a little bit more subdued. If you ever meet me, just so you know, there is a persona, the Paula B persona, that's a little bit more cheerful, a little bit more singy than I am like just at the grocery store and whatnot. And thank goodness. I mean, really, can you imagine me at the grocery store just singing, "Hello, cashier"? Yeah, no, I'm not quite like that. But the relic from my childhood, my mother used to sing us awake in the morning. And I love that. I actually did it for my kids too. She would sing, oh my gosh, what's the song? Oh, What a Beautiful Morning. I think it's from Oklahoma, the musical. I think it's from one of those Rodgers and Hammerstein ones. Like, my mom was a big fan because, you know, she grew up in the 40s and 50s, and so she was a big fan of those musicals. It was the music of my childhood. Actually, that's not entirely true. It's not like she owned any like record albums or anything of those soundtracks, because I don't know if such a thing exists. But she would sing the songs to us. The record albums of my childhood are things like Barry Manilow and Neil Diamond, like hugely. That was cleaning music. Anyway, wow, hi, I'm not even talking about that today. Let's talk about something that I am even more excited to talk about than Neil Diamond, which is really saying something because I love Neil Diamond. But we are talking about creating unshakable belief in yourself. How amazing does that sound? Can you imagine, and I'm going to actually ask you to do this, spoiler alert, can you imagine what it would be like to have complete belief in your end game, in the goal that you are aiming for right now? No matter what the goal is, weight loss, business, relationships, no matter what you are aiming for right now, can you imagine what it would be like to have complete belief in your ability to get it? It's amazing, right? Right? And the reason I say creating unshakable belief, really specifically, I chose those words with great care because I think a lot of us really think that what we have to do is eliminate self-doubt. And I want you to know that that is not what I think you should do with your mindset. Eliminating self-doubt sounds amazing, right? Like, it actually almost sounds better than creating unshakable belief. And I understand like the thought process that might go into like creating something. Sounds like you have to do something. And you do. I mean, I have practical steps for you today. Gosh, you guys, you don't even know. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 practical steps for you today that are going to help you create unshakable belief in yourself. And I know that for lots of us, for me personally, when I think about creating something, I'm like, dude, my to-do list is already so long. Really, I gotta add something else to it? Yes, and the reason I say this is because even though I am giving you 6 practical steps, it's still easier than trying to eliminate self-doubt. And here's why. Self-doubt is always going to exist for you. And I say that with so much love. I just popped that out like, hey, here's some really terrible news, except that I don't think it's terrible news. I really, honestly, I don't think there's anything to fear from having self-doubt thoughts. I find it to be a completely natural part of life. It is the kind of thing that your brain is going to offer you automatically, whether you like it or not. So you might as well like it. Like, you honestly might as well just be like, you know what? I'm always going to have self-doubt. And that's completely okay. I don't have to eliminate it, thank goodness, because that would be the kind of task that you actually can't do. Whereas creating unshakable belief in yourself, I mean, that's completely within your control. That's completely something that you are capable of doing for yourself. And here's why I love this. Because, okay, let's say that self-doubt exists, and on a scale of 1 to 10, you have 5 self-doubt. I don't know, it doesn't actually exist in that way, but let's just say that it does. Let's say that you have 5 self-doubt. So you would have to work and work and work to chip away to get like down to 4 self-doubt, or get down to 3 self-doubt. Again, these are random numbers I'm throwing out here. But here's the thing, when you are creating unshakable belief in yourself, there's nothing to chip away at. Everything you create for yourself builds your belief in yourself. What? That sounds amazing, right? Like, no matter where you go with this work, even the tiniest bit of creating unshakable belief in yourself will have you with more self-belief than you have right now. Okay, this is why I talk about creating rather than eliminating or destroying. First of all, because eliminating or destroying isn't really practical. And second of all, because creating entirely within your control, and everything you do gets you better off than where you are right now. Boom. So how do we do this? How do we create unshakable belief in yourself? And why? I mean, let's actually start with the why, because you know me, I'm a why girl. I'm a why girl. I love to know why. Well, here's why. Having unshakable belief in yourself is, at its core, building a relationship with yourself that will help you get any goal you want. Really specifically, whatever goal you are working on right now, but also any goal that you have in the future. The things that we do that create unshakable belief in ourselves are the things that will propel you, will make you feel motivated and feel energized so that you can go do the things that you need to do to get your goal. And really quickly, I want to offer you that what we are talking about today here on the podcast is a bit of like a broad overview. I'm going to give you lots of details. Don't worry. Like I said, 6 practical steps of things to do. I've got tons of other podcasts for you to listen to, but it's also a little bit, I call it high level, meaning broad, in that I'm not going to really drill down into each of these individual things that you will do. Partly because I want to make this one podcast as opposed to 6 podcasts, and partly because I have already drilled down in the podcasts that I'm going to refer you to. My intent today is to really give you this broad view so that you can see all the little pieces that we have talked about here and there on the podcast and kind of put them together into one concept about why and how you want to have unshakable belief in yourself. And I want you to know that this is the kind of thing that we actually talk about in the Get Your Goal group all the time. Putting together all the bits and pieces of the podcast is what we do. We are creating for yourself a self-concept of unshakable belief and ability to get your goal, hence the name Get Your Goal. And in fact, this is one of the modules that we have in the Get Your Goal group that you can go through, that has all the links to all the podcasts and has a little bit more explanation about how and why and what to do and all those kinds of things. But I wanted to share it with you here on the podcast, first of all, as an overt invitation to come and join the Get Your Goal group, because if you like talking about this kind of stuff on the podcast, you're going to love working it in real time with me and all the other members of the group in the group. Okay, so here's how to create unshakable belief in yourself. And I want you to know that these steps, I'm calling them, step 1 through step 6. These are not in any kind of an order, and they're not a one and done. This creating of an unshakable belief in yourself, it's not a crock pot meal. It's not a set it and forget it by any stretch. This is the kind of thing that you will do not necessarily daily, but you will do regularly. You will do again and again, and every time you come back to these steps, you'll dig a little bit deeper down and get a better and deeper knowledge of what it means to you in your life. It is, rather than creating something one time, like painting, a picture of flowers or something, you are building a relationship with yourself that you will continue to build and have for the rest of your life. So step number 1, even though it's not in order, step number 1 is understanding what you control and how to make changes in your life. Because we all are a little bit confused about this. Let me just tell you that way. We all live in a world where we think that we don't have control over things that we do have control over, and we also think that we do have control over things that we don't. We all want to control other people. We all want to control our circumstances. Those of us, I think I'm really speaking to parents of teenagers right now. We really want to control other people's emotions, right? We really, really want other people to behave and feel and say and do the things that we want them to do. And the fact is, you don't have any control over other people. You don't have any control over really anything outside of you. The things you do control, though, this is fantastic news. The things you do control are everything about you, meaning your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results. The results you create in the world are up to you because they come from your thoughts, which create your feelings, which drive your actions, which creates results. And that's actually how to change also. That process right there is how you create change in your life, is by recognizing your control over your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, and therefore your results, and working within that system to create what you want, as opposed to fighting against the things that you don't control. So here are the 2 podcasts where I really, really, really dig into what you control and how to make changes. And it's really called, episode number 34 is called What You Control. And episode number 32 is called How to Change. These are not clever titles. These are titles that just really lay it out there for you. And that's on purpose. We've had this conversation before about how I really like to give you exactly what you're going to get out of a podcast in the titles. So step number 2, which again is not in any kind of an order, you can do these things on what I consider like an as needed basis. Like as you need to do these things, or as you want to do these things, or as you make yourself, because you are doing things intentionally, do these things. That is when you will do them. It's not like you have to understand what you control and how to make changes before you can do anything else. You want to get a broad overview of what you control and how to make changes, and you want to, step 2, visit the future every day. You guys, this one is way up here in the how to create unshakable belief in yourself, because in fact I would have put it first, except for the fact that I do find the other 2 concepts to be kind of foundational. But here's the thing about visiting the future every day. I think this is the thing that everybody is missing. I really honestly believe that this is the thing that we don't know that we need to do, and it is the thing, one of 6 of them, that will really help you create unshakable belief in yourself. Here's the thing about when we are aiming towards a goal, and we all do this, don't get me wrong, we all do this. We visit the past all the time, and we think about and sometimes stew in all of our failures, all the ways in which things have gone wrong, all the ways in which we don't believe in ourselves. This is the self-doubt that we would love to eliminate. Well, here's how you can help, not eliminate, but create something for yourself that means that you will not focus on your self-doubts. When you visit the future you has already achieved this goal. Where you are right this second in like real time is the past to that future you. And yeah, there are self-doubts here, but also in the future, you already know you've done it. When you visit future you who has already achieved your goal, it crystallizes in your mind that this goal is achievable. It does not eliminate self-doubt, but it changes your focus away from self-doubt and onto something that feels a lot better, like way better. Visiting the future where you have already achieved your goal and envisioning and embodying who that is and what she has accomplished feels amazing. And because it feels amazing, my friends, because it feels amazing, it will feel amazing right now. Meaning it will feel motivating right now. It will feel inspiring right now. It will feel energetic right now just from daydreaming. Like amazing, right? This is honestly the easiest step. And like I said, it's the one we all forget. I have an entire podcast about this. It's episode number 27, Finding Motivation from Your Future Self. It is honestly, again, I'm going to tell you, it's the thing that I forget to do, and therefore it's the thing that I think you forget to do. We all feel like we have so much evidence from the past because it's already happened. We already know how it turned out. And therefore we take that as evidence of the way things could go in the future. Using that knowledge for good instead of for evil is exactly what we're doing when we visit the future. We're seeing where we are right now as the past and embodying who we are when this goal is already accomplished. It takes very little effort on your part, and yet it's the toughest one to do. So go give that a try. Okay. Step 3, which isn't really in order at all, but it's one of the things that we do, is to sort through your current thoughts. Okay, speaking of things that nobody wants to do, am I right? Because this is the part where we actually do pay attention to the self-doubt. This is the part where we actually listen to all the junky thoughts that you actually don't want to listen to. And I get it. I would love to avoid or eliminate my thoughts that feel terrible. We all would. I mean, this is Psychology 101. We would love to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's why this one feels so tough, because you actually are going to feel some yucky feelings when you recognize and deal with your yucky thoughts. But here's why this works. When you dig up your current thoughts, you can see them for exactly what they are. They're just thoughts. Y'all, a thought is an electrical current that runs through your brain. That's it. That is the only thing that's going on. It is a collection of ideas and perceptions that have been formed over the course of your entire life based on things that you have read, things that you have seen, things that you have heard, things that people have said or done to you, things that other people have said or done to other people that you were witness or party to. Like every single perception of your life has been categorized in your brain, and then it just runs on repeat. This is exactly how your brain is supposed to work, by the way. Like, there's no mystery about this. Your brain is supposed to operate like this. It's supposed to make sense of the world and then repeat it, because clearly this is how things work, right? I mean, that's what your brain thinks. But it's not always right. The things that your brain sends to you as a thought are not always helpful for moving you forward. This is what we talk about when we talk about finding your thoughts and deciding if they're helpful. And that actually is episode number 89, Mind Management, where we talk about the 2-step tool. But I also really want to point you in the direction, because the way that we find our thoughts is by journaling about them. It's by putting them out on paper and seeing in real time, in reality, on paper, oh, this is a thought that is in my head. And the episode that I'm going to point you to for that one is episode number 45, How I Journal for Success. And I'm hesitant to point you in that direction for one and only one reason. I don't want you to think that there's only one way to journal. And in fact, even when I recorded that was the way that I journaled, and my journaling process has grown and changed and evolved over time, and yours will too. What I want you to know about journaling is that where you start is where you start. It's not wrong. There's nothing about it that can possibly be wrong unless you feel worse from it. Like you use it against yourself to like judge yourself or tell yourself how terrible you are at journaling. Like that's when you'd be journaling wrong. And even then, I kind of have air quotes around that word wrong. However you journal, whether that means that you're like having a conversation with a friend or just noticing your thoughts while you're in the shower or driving or doing something else, or if you actually write them down on a piece of paper with a pen and a notebook and you put a little red X to the ones that are unhelpful, or like any of the things that you do, any of the processes that you use to quote unquote journal are all completely okay. The point of journaling is to notice your thoughts. Notice that you have them. Notice how they're affecting you. Notice the feelings that they create for you. Notice the results that you're getting from them. Noticing and thinking about your thoughts is the point of journaling. It's not like you're going to get a gold star for doing it the right way. The right way is the way that you notice your thoughts. And then, oh my friends, I'm going to tell you actually, okay, this is almost like step 3A as opposed to step 4. I'm going to list it as step 4, but it's not necessarily an important or crucial part of creating unshakable belief in yourself, but it's the thing that you want to do, and that's why I'm going to address it here. Everybody, every single one of us comes to this mindset work like, I'm going to think great thoughts for myself and I'm going to feel amazing. Like we all think that that's what we're going to do. We all want to start here with this, I'm going to think happy thoughts and then I'm never going to feel lousy again. And I want to disabuse you of that notion in the most loving way by telling you that yes, it's absolutely possible to create helpful thoughts for yourself on purpose, but you don't get a free pass where you don't have to look at the unhelpful thoughts. This is the thing that we all want to do. We all want to just think the positive things and hope that we will therefore get our goal from the positive thoughts. But actually what you need to do is dig through the yuck thoughts, the unhelpful thoughts, before you even have room in your brain for the helpful thoughts. But I'm going to mention it here just so that you can go listen to this other podcast that I'm going to refer you to, episode number 40, which is Stop Thinking Positively. I love this episode, and it's going to tell you all about why thinking positively is not the answer. Thinking positively, or rather thinking intentionally, is a much better word. Thinking intentionally, on purpose, a helpful thought that creates a helpful feeling for you and then drives you to helpful actions that get you to your goal. Yes, it's a part of the process of getting your goal, but honestly, it's not the most important one. Even though it's the one where everybody wants to start, it's not like the thing that gets you to your goal at all. And it's not even really the most important part about creating unshakable belief in yourself. I have a theory, and this is based on me being an ultramarathoner, that really almost everything I know in life I learned from running long past the point where I wanted to be running. And this is what I think about when I think about creating unshakable belief in yourself. Creating unshakable belief in yourself isn't doing good stuff that feels amazing. You actually create belief in your abilities when you do lousy stuff that feels horrible. When you keep running when you don't want to run, when you keep going past the point where it feels good and where you wanted to do something, that is how you build trust in yourself. That is where you really know where the rubber meets the road. You really know what you're made of. You really face your fears, your worries, your doubts, your ugly thoughts, all the terrible things. And then you're like, oh, I survived this and it wasn't that bad. That is truly where unshakable belief comes from. It doesn't come from doing fun stuff. It comes from doing hard stuff. Now, having said that, there are some fun things to do along the way too. I mean, the reason I run past the point where I want to run is because I do enjoy running. So there are fun things and enjoyable parts of it, but the enjoyable parts aren't the most important parts. And in fact, speaking of that, speaking of doing yucky things that you don't want to do, oh my goodness. Step 5? Yes. Step 5 of creating unshakable belief in yourself is feeling your feelings. Now, this sounds on its surface so easy, right? Like, if you are like me and you are a crier and you cry all the time and you cry for everything, you're like, I feel my feelings. Oh my gosh, no, you don't. You have no idea how many feelings you are stuffing down and shoving aside and frittering away by playing on your phone or trying to comfort yourself away from by eating or taking a bath or whatever. You, and I say this with so much love because I'm actually talking to myself, you are not feeling all your feelings. I'm feeling almost all my feelings, and this has been ongoing work. This is what I'm telling you. This is not a one and done thing. This is ongoing, as needed basis work. And this, my friends, is the yucky part that will absolutely create unshakable belief in yourself. When you can feel your feelings, like just allow your feelings to exist, when you can sit still and feel embarrassment, shame, worry. Actually, you don't really have to feel worry very much. There's a whole nother conversation, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But when you can feel your yucky feelings, and even when you can feel the good stuff, I will tell you, one of the most difficult feelings I have ever felt through in my entire life was overjoyed. When my agent contacted me for my book, which is a whole nother story, and I'm going to tell you that really soon, but I'm writing a book and I'm very excited about it. But I was very excited about it, and this was the thing that happened. She contacted me and she was like, hey, I'd like to represent you. And I was immediately flooded with a feeling that I have labeled as overjoyed, because it was so hard to feel. It wasn't joy, it was too much. It was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever felt in my entire life. And I will tell you, it felt like I was going to throw up. I cried like grief. I cried like terror. I cried so hard. I mean, I was like I Love Lucy with my mouth hanging open and just wailing sobs. And I kept asking myself, actually, while I was allowing myself to feel this feeling, I was like, am I sad? like I really didn't know. In fact, I didn't even label the feeling as overjoyed until after it had mostly dissipated through me, where I was like, what in the world is going on here? It was so uncomfortable, so big, so much. And I allowed myself to feel it. Here is why this is the thing that creates unshakable belief, or one of the 6 things, let's be honest. One of the 6 things that creates unshakable belief in yourself. When you can allow a feeling that feels like too much, that feels like it is jumping out of your skin, that feels like you are bursting, that feels like you might throw up, that feels like you could turn your eyelids inside out from crying so hard. When you can feel that, what you will feel afterwards is basically bulletproof. Like, that is the hardest thing I have ever felt, ever. And now I know that I'm completely capable of feeling basically anything. I don't think anything's going to be harder than overjoyed. And I don't mark my words on that one, because I mean, surely there will be something else that comes up that feels more horrible to feel than that. But right now in my lifetime, that has been the most difficult feeling. And I felt it. When you feel your feelings, instead of trying to get away from them, instead of trying to crush them down, instead of trying to comfort yourself out of them, when you just allow them to exist in your body. First of all, you don't know this right now because you don't feel your feelings, because I didn't feel my feelings and I didn't know this. It will actually dissipate pretty quickly. We think that we feel our feelings like, oh, I had such a bad day. I felt lousy all day. That, my friends, that non-stop feeling is actually you/me not allowing your feelings, not feeling it all the way through. When you actually allow a feeling to just flood through you, it goes away. It goes away, and then, well, you kind of feel a little bit of a hangover from it, honestly, with some feelings. But then it just moves on. Your body just goes on to doing something else, feeling another feeling. It's completely done. So weird, so mind-blowing, right? And this is why this is part of creating unshakable belief in yourself. When you experience this for yourself, you will realize that your feelings are just feelings, honestly. There's no other way to put it. They're just feelings. It's completely fine. Now, the thing that I was talking about with like worry versus like a feeling that you'd want to like allow to feel all the way through, there are different kinds of feelings, and we have had some conversations about this. I'm going to point you in the direction of two really specific podcasts where we dig into this really deeply. Number one is episode number 39. It's called Feelings. Nice and obvious right there. It's where we talk all about feelings, how you get them, what to do with them, what they are, all kinds of good stuff. But then the one where I kind of pull apart feelings that you want to feel all the way through versus feelings that you can just very gently redirect in your mind is episode number 98. It's called Food, Regret, and Shame. And I do actually feel like that topic is really worthy of a revisit at some point in time in the future. So I'm gonna put that on my little list. And just so you know, it is something that comes up very frequently in the Get Your Goal group. There's a lot more conversation about that in the Get Your Goal group. So if that's something that you'd really like to dig into, I know the place for you. Hey, here's the last thing. Here is step number 6. And this really, when I was creating this module in the Get Your Goal group, I will tell you, I had these 6 parts and I moved them around. I played Tetris with them a lot because I'm like, but this one's the most important, but this one's the most important. No, this one's the most important. I want you to know that all 6 of these pieces are the most important. I know that's like illogical and doesn't actually work that way, but truly, just because I'm saying this one last, I want you to know that it is not the least important. And for you, it might in fact be the most important part of it. Here it is. Celebrate your wins regularly. Here's why. Because we don't do this. Because this is something that we don't automatically do. It's gonna feel very uncomfortable. This actually is really tied to that last one about feeling your feelings. When you notice what you think about yourself when you are celebrating your wins, I'm spoiler alert, here's what's going to happen. You're going to want to celebrate your wins because I have just told you that's an important part of creating unshakable belief in yourself. And then you're going to want to tell somebody, oh my gosh, I did this thing today. And you are immediately going to judge yourself for being a person who brags, for being too full of yourself, for being arrogant, all of the nonsense that I'm just going to say society has laid on us. It's not really, that's a whole nother conversation, but these are judgy thoughts that you have had programmed into you from your parents, from the world, from media, from everywhere, that you shouldn't feel too good about yourself. And I am here to counteract all of that. You should. When you feel good about yourself, you put good out into the world. You celebrating your wins and feeling good does not create arrogance. It actually creates love and compassion. When you love yourself and recognize that you have done something amazing, you will practice noticing something amazing. And then you will hand that to other people. When you celebrate your wins, you will be more available to celebrate other wins from other people that will create in them good feelings. They don't actually create good feelings in them, but can help them create for themselves good feelings that then spreads out into the world. The better you feel about yourself, the better you feel about other people. And the better you feel about other people, the more happiness and positivity you radiate, the easier it is for other people to do the same. You can be a shining beacon of amazingness that helps other people. You know how I know this? Because I'm doing it right now. The reason I can celebrate your wins, the reason I can tell you you are amazing every single time we work out together, every single time I have a podcast, every single time I answer your questions on Q&A Friday, every single time, well, not necessarily every single time I meet you in person. Again, when I'm at the grocery store, I'm thinking grocery store thoughts. But when I am in my Paula B-ness, that's a word, B-ness. Please listen to that carefully. It's the letter B, like my last name Bowers, not P, like my first name Paula. I'm gonna let you get that joke on your own. But here's the thing, when you are celebrating your wins, it creates unshakable belief in yourself that radiates out into the world. My friends, have I been passionate about this enough? Do you get it? Are you excited about creating unshakable belief in yourself? Even listening to this podcast before you even do any of this work, my friends, you have already started on this path. You have already, rather than trying to eliminate self-doubt, you have already started creating something amazing and beautiful for yourself. And in fact, I'm going to also point you in the direction of episode number 26, Learning to Trust Yourself, where we talk, it's not entirely about celebrating your wins, but it is part of the conversation about learning to trust yourself. It's still helpful. All of these podcasts are. I know I've just sent you in the direction of like hours of listening. Go take your time on this. This is, again, a relationship that you are building with yourself over time. Even if you binge listen to every single one of the things that I talked about today, it's still going to take you time and practice to be able to do all of these things that will then together create this unshakable belief in yourself. My friends, I already have this belief in you. You are amazing. You are capable. And thank you so much for listening today. I always love it when we spend time together. I'll see you again soon. If you're getting a lot out of the Fitness Matters podcast and you're ready to take it to the next level, you're going to love the Get Your Goal Coaching and Accountability Group. We take all the theory and knowledge here on the podcast and actually apply it in real life on your real weight loss and fitness goals. It's hands-on, it's fun, and it works. Find out more at paulabfitness.com/get-your-goal. And let's get your goal.